Okay, folks, welcome back to our topic of rearranging equations by myself, Mr. Imran Iqbal. Now, we've got 6 questions ahead of us here. Let's smash them. In each question, we got to make x the subject. Oops, so just need to get a brush. Grab that. In each question, x has to be made the subject. Let's go for it. So let's go over this in red. So we start by looking at the x. So x is being square rooted is the first action. It's been minus by 7 is the second action. So this is our first action. This is our second action. So we always move the last action first. We always move it. So let's grab the minus 7. Take it to the other side. Opposite minus 7. Change side. You change the sign. So that gives you y plus 7 is equal to the root of x. Remember, x is what we want to work out. We want to make x the subject. Now we just have a root left over to move over. So grab the root. Take it to the side. Opposite rooting on the right hand side is a square on the left hand side. So we have now y plus 7, all of that squared is equal to x. Common mistake is students will put the square on the y and not the 7. So the y plus 7, all of it has to be squared. And that's the end of that question. Question's done. Next question, we've got to make x the subject here. So let's look at the x and identify what is the first action, second action. So the first action is plus 3. Second action is the squared action. So we always move the squared first because it's the last action. Opposite squaring is square rooting. So we have y square root is equal to x plus 3. Now the brackets have gone. They have evaporated. They have disappeared. Okay. Once the squared is gone, there's nothing holding the brackets together. Brackets also go. Now you have to move the plus 3 now. Opposite of add 3 is minus 3 now. Don't make the common student error and put the minus 3 inside the square root. You're not allowed to do that. So it's going to be square root of y. That's already been decided. And the minus 3 must be outside the square root. So don't make the common error of sticking it inside. You can't do that. It's not allowed. And that's the end of the second question. Second question done in the bag. Let's go for the third question. So these questions can be done quite rapidly once you understand what you're doing. So we want to make x the subject. So I've highlighted it. We're looking at the x first. We are analyzing the x. So x has been timed by 4, first action. Squared is the second action. So let's move the squared first. Opposite squaring is square rooting. Now the brackets have gone because the square is gone. So opposite timed by 4 is divide by 4. So we end up with the square root of y again, and divide by 4 is outside and underneath, not inside the square root. And that's the end of the third question. You have to read the question, understand what you've read, and undo the question in reverse order. These next 3 questions are going to get a little bit more exciting. So let's first of all quickly go over the x in red because x has to be made the subject in each question. Let's smash these questions. Okay. So let's look at the x. The x has been squared. This is the first action. It's been timed by m, second action. It's been divided by 3 is our third action. So you always move the third action first. So the opposite of divide by 3 is timed by 3. So we have now 3y is equal to x squared m. Remember, this was the first action. This was the second action. This was the third action. So we've got to move the second action now, which is timed by m. Opposite of timed by m is divide by m. So we have now 3y divided by m is equal to x squared. We've got one step left to do now. So, which is the squared. We've got to move the squared over. Remember, the square was the first action. Opposite squaring this side is to square root the other side. When you change side, you change sign. Now again, this is the part where students make mistakes. You don't square root just the top part. You don't just square the bottom part. You square the whole lot. So we're going to have a nice big square root over 3y divided by m. Everything is inside the square root because we're square rooting the whole side. And that's the end of the fourth question. Question number 5 now. Y is equal to the square root of 3xz. We want to work out the x. Right. What color are we on now? Let's choose a nice color. So the x has been timed by 3. and time by z. I wouldn't treat that as two actions, treat it as one action. To think of x being timed by 3z as one action. So in a sense, if you wanted to, you could rewrite the question quickly, because we've got space, x timed by 3z. We're just rewriting it to make it look more easy for us to deal with. So remember, we're trying to work out the x. So x has been timed by 3z, that's the first action. Then it's been all square rooted, that's the second action. So we always move the second action first, the last action. So opposite square rooting is squaring. So you have y squared is equal to x times by 3z. Now, I want to work out the x, it's been times by 3z. Opposite times by 3z is divide by 3z. So when we change side, we change sign. So the time becomes divide. So it's y squared divided by 3z is equal to x. Okay, next question. Last question on this third video that we're uploading. Okay, right. Let's look at x squared. Now let's look at the actions. So x squared, if x is first of all being squared, so this one here is my first action. Then it's been timed by 2b. That's my second action. Then it's been divided by 3, which is my third action. So I've got three distinct clear actions. Squaring first thing, times in by 2b second thing, dividing by 3 is the last thing that's done. So you must be able to read the question, what's been done, in which order. So, as we said before, we move everything in reverse order, move the last action first. Opposite divide by 3 becomes a time by 3. So we now have 3a is equal to 2b x squared. So we move the third action, now you're going to move the second action. Opposite of time by 2b is divide by 2b. So we got 3a divided by 2b is equal to x squared. So like now, what we do now, we've got to work out this x, we've got x squared, grab the squared, take it to the other side, opposite squaring is square rooting. So you got 3a divided by 2b, and again, all of it has to be square rooted. Don't forget all of it, not just the top part. That would be mathematically incorrect. That's the end of our video. Please consider subscribing and hit that notification button so you can get all the latest videos. See you in the next one.